Who want one last trip to the long trail?
I read recently an article from the point of view of a new player to Tekken 8, and it suddenly made sense why the game was patched to be so ridiculous. Do you have that link? I know you got the link, bro. Oh, this comes from Vice. I don't think I ever seen a Vice news article on Tekken 8. Now, I turned on reader mode because these guys got a whole lot of ads popping up. We ain't got time for that. So this comes from Vice, and it says, I finally stopped ignoring Tekken 8, and now I understand the hype. Whoa. None of us would say that, right? But this is the point of looking at this. This comes from a very new player, casual perspective. As a stubborn 2D fighting purist, this is what I've been missing, question mark. I've been a fan of fighting games for as long as I can remember, but like any insufferable purist out there, I've stuck solely to 2D fighters, MVC2, Third Strike, Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Versus, Street Fighter 6, you name it, that's my jam. I guess they call them 2.5D fighters now. When I finally decided to check out Tekken 8 on the cusp of launching Season 2 during its spring update, I reluctantly bit. Am I even going to like this game? Will it be a massive culture shock after years of two-dimensional bouts? Is it really good as everyone says it is? Yes. Definitely yes. A astounding yes. So far so good. But this, okay, look, we can meme on how ridiculous this is probably going to be, but I think it's important to understand average pro players, because that's what Tekken is doing. Tekken is trying to cater to casuals and is trying to bring in new players. So when we finally get a new player's perspective and take on the game, I think it's important to understand what they like about the game and what the developers are doing. Our gut reaction is to scoff and say, get good, scrub, you don't know what you're, but you have to think deeper than that, because this problem goes deeper. Tekken 8 is a shock to my system and I have no idea what's going on. After starting Tekken 8 for the first time, I went head straight into practice mode naturally. It was there and I figured out, I learned the basics of Tekken, the ins and out of the mechanics, and how to do combos. Combo challenge, now that's what I'm talking about. I do think the combo challenge is pretty good. I think the combo challenge is pretty good. This was a mistake. While I managed to clear a few character combos challenge, I struggled to figure out what some of the input symbols even meant. Why is the arrow white and the next black? What does the SAR symbol mean? Heat mode, special style, while rising. Turns out Tekken 8 moves look way more simplistic on surface than a game has enough depth to rival Mariana Trench. That's even before taking additional axes on playing to account. So this is something that I talked about a lot, and I'm happy that this person is highlighting it. I always talk about how Tekken doesn't do enough to explain the game. It doesn't explain like what the different type of arrows means, what the stars mean. This is a person who's new to the game and who's confused by things that's second nature to third, fourth, fifth in nature to us. It's all of the natures to us. Someone new showing up is confused. And this is what I say. When you turn and call the person a scrub for not knowing how to do this or not knowing how to do that, I mean, I just say, think about how Tekken doesn't help these people. And I'm not saying help them win. I'm talking about help them learn. The same way you say get good, where do people go to get good? YouTube? That's about it. I just think that Tekken doesn't do enough. And I love that this person is highlighting that. The School of Hard Knocks, the Tekken Universal State, for instance, which have your fighter responding to inputs based on the stance they're in. Throw out a left punch while standing and they'll do one thing. Throw out the same punch during their rising animation from crouch. That's a different move. During a dash, another move. Immediately after dashing, yep, another move. This is something that I also spoke to someone. I spoke to someone and they said the same thing. They said when they first tried Tekken, they didn't understand what force crouch was. The game doesn't explain what force crouch is. They didn't understand why when they press square, they did a jab, but then when they got forced into crouch, they did a totally different move. This is the things that Tekken don't explain. And every one of Tekken 8 characters currently totaling 37 at the time behaves and fights distinctly from one another. Suddenly 200 plus techniques on a character move list starting to make sense, right? This is the bloat that we're talking about. I feel like I'm suffering from the bloat that Tekken 8 has, and I'm someone who plays Tekken and knows about Tekken quite a lot. I think when they do these, you kind of need to do updates now because the game is so bad, but when you do repetitive updates over and over and over and you change properties of moves, it gets crazy. I think where the real problems come in, it was when they changed moves that are like legacy. Like, I don't know the input, but they changed the one move from Jin. It's a low kick that was launch punishable, and it's always been that way. In Season 2, they made it safe. And we saw multiple tournaments now where pro players are trying to launch punish that attack, and they can't. They go to launch punish, but oh, the update changed it, and now it's safe, and I can't do that anymore, and now I die. Okay, cool. I get it. Memorize a few bread and butter combos and freestyle the rest. I know the fundamentals of fighting games well enough already, the frame data, neutral game, and all that jazz. I think I got this. I queue up for my first player match, the first real match of Tekken I ever played since Tekken 3 on PS1. Let's skip the fluff. I got destroyed. And that is interesting, right? Playing against the goals, playing against computer, and playing against players will all teach you very different things. And yeah, you'll get destroyed, bro. You'll get destroyed, and you have to willingly walk through that fire to come out the side of it a better player. But then here's the thing about Tekken, you never stop going up against people who's stronger than you. Never does that stop where you go into rank and you get destroyed. From beginner to orange to yellow, red, blue, purple, all the way up until pros. Arsenal's the best, and we see Arsenal get destroyed in tournaments from time to time. That's kind of how Tekken is, and a lot of players aren't cut out for it, which is why the developers try to carry people in every way possible. From local arcades to the big stage, maybe I'm not ready to fight real humans just yet. I headed back to the main menu and peeped around offline section. Luckily, I landed on the arcade quests, an offline story mode that tells the story of your custom avatar as you ride from hometown arcade hero to Tekken legend. It's sort of like a charming swing at World Tour mode from Street Fighter 6, but best of all, it's where the game teaches you basic of how to play, meat potatoes, and unique systems, and all the means. So this is something that we think is worthless, and we think it's a big waste of money. They would have been better to put this money into Team Battle and, you know, whatever else, right? Tekken Force. But here you see it working as intended. This person first went into practice mode. They understood a couple of things, and then they went into a match and they got bodied. They took a step back and they looked around and they was like, oh, okay, let me go into arcade lounge or arcade quest and see what this is. And then they've started to learn a little bit more. So this is kind of just giving us an understanding of why this is here and how the developers intend for people who are new to the game to play it. This person is following the exact breadcrumbs that the developers are laying out. This is exactly what I'm looking for. It's a bit concealed, being Tekken's intended first stop for a newbie like me, but it works wonders to introduce bread and butters into easily digestible step-by-step process. Now I'm starting to really get it. After some time in Arcade Quest, I'm starting to familiarize myself with Tekken 8's main menu. A ton of options here, more offline and online game modes to count, and wait, character customization. Surely they're talking about arcade avatar. They wouldn't actually let me. Tekken 8 lets you be your most expressive self. This person says, Capcom, are you paying attention? Because Street Fighter 6 has a ton of silly props and funny hats to earn and equip to your avatar while sitting in the Battle Hub waiting rooms, Tekken 8 takes it a step forward, allowing you to fully customize 37 characters however you want. I put funny glasses on Clive, so note how everyone hates Clive, and I consistently tell you guys that Clive is one of the most successful. He is the most successful guest character of all time. And here you have some new guy who doesn't know nothing who bought Clive. Those are those dots just connecting. Turn his hair pink and strip him down into a leopard print Speedo. Are you kidding me? So this is a pretty interesting because it's showing us exactly how the developers intend for players to play this game. Now, we haven't got to the part yet, and I don't know if this will talk about it, where the game is dumbing down the game, making it all about guessing, making it all about that aspect of it, but you can see how the developers intend for people to play it. It says, and it gets even deeper than that. UI elements of my UI, like my health bar, look, banner titles, and player card, it's all customizable. Tekken 8 is all about expression, both in how you throw punches and how you present yourself. There's no wrong way to play, a sentiment commonly echoed through the arcade story. There's only your way to play. After a few hours, and it's abundantly clear that I'm only poking the tip of Tekken 8 iceberg, as overwhelmingly as it is to switch from the quarter circle I'm used to into a Tekken unique fighting style, I'm pumped to keep diving deeper. I had always written off 3D fighters in the past. They're not as complex, they're too slow and clunky, but now 2024 Best Fighting Game Award suddenly makes sense. So you see like a very different perspective. And this is exactly what the developers are going for. I mean, it makes sense. The only sad part is that, you know, this person obviously didn't reach the part of balance yet, but all of the first steps this person reached. They're paying for stuff, they're customizing their character, they're in the lounge, they're learning about the game, they're embracing the game. The game feels faster and more smoother and swifter to them and not clunky like the past games. Keep in mind, this person said that the last game they played was Tekken 3, and that's the same for a lot of people. A lot of people will say their last Tekken is Tekken 3 and Tekken 5. I think in that way, the game does succeed. It's just sad that the game can't achieve that balance that Tekken 7 was able to achieve. The balance between casual and competitive. Competitive had its own distinct feel for gameplay, and so did casual. But now with Tekken 8, casual and competitive has been consumed with what they're trying to do for the new characters. And as we are sitting looking at the clock waiting for the update to fix it all, this just gives you a look into the world of someone who's revisiting Tekken after being gone for so long. And that's what I think is important to highlight.